Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where we talk about the things we love like gaming, shows, and anime. Today we got another exciting Who Would Win battle. This one is between Broly and Cell, two of the greatest villains in the Dragon Ball Z series. This video was requested by Jacob Scully. Glad to have you tune into my channel, bro. So after all the debates of who is stronger and a bigger threat to the Z fighters, I'll be sure to give my best description on who would win in a fight between Broly versus Cell. So, let's begin. Both fighters would be at their first form. This means Broly isn't in his legendary form or Super Saiyan, and Cell is in his first form as well. Now, this is how I would see it all start off. Cell had both androids 17 and 18 in his sight. He caught up to them, beat them down, and now has them both knocked out, ready to absorb them. But then Broly shows up to crash the party and fight Cell before he absorbs any of them. Cell prepares to absorb 18, but Broly attacks him with his gigantic cluster attack, making Cell have to step away from the androids and begin dodging the blasts. Cell would sense Broly's power level and notice that it's basic and not much of a threat, so he agrees to fight him in his first form to get him out of the way. Broly would begin walking towards Cell and continue throwing ki blasts at him. Cell would smack the ki blasts away while running towards him. Broly would then stop throwing ki blasts as soon as he's close enough, and he would launch a strong hit at Cell. Cell would quickly dodge it and kick Broly in the face. Broly would be hurt, but resist the attack and continue to try and land a hard hit on Cell. Broly is very slow in his first form, so he wouldn't be able to land a single hit on Cell. Cell would then step away and perform the Kamehameha on Broly. As Cell is in the Kamehameha stance and saying the name of the attack out loud, Broly would recognize the name of the attack and remember that Goku used the same technique against him. This would infuriate him and make him go Super Saiyan as Cell lands the Kamehameha Blast on Broly. This would not hurt Broly as his power level has increased a great amount, making him stronger than Cell in his first form. Cell would notice that Broly is a Super Saiyan and try to match his power by attacking him with strong hits. Broly would block most of his hits and then grab Cell by his tail, then swing him up and slam him hard into the ground. Then Broly would use his bloody smash to bury Cell underground. After receiving this attack, Cell would realize that he is no match against him anymore, and the only thing left to do is to absorb one of the androids. Broly patiently awaits for Cell to rise up as he is overly confident about himself. Cell stays underground and moves through the ground to not be seen by Broly as he gets closer to the androids. Cell then bursts out of the ground next to Android 17 and begins to absorb him. Broly notices this and observes. Cell becomes semi-perfect Cell and his power now matches that of Broly's. Cell taunts Broly by saying he now possesses more power than him. Broly gives a smirk and slowly floats towards him. Cell finds it disturbing that Broly isn't afraid and demonstrates what he is now capable of by rushing towards Broly and throwing fast hits at him. Broly would dodge every hit, and after about 50 hits dodged, Broly would use his energy shield to push Cell away and give him a chance to strike back. Cell would see his fist coming and he would quickly dodge it, and he would then land a kick on Broly. Broly would be hurt, but he would enjoy the pain and laugh at the fact that Cell landed a pathetic hit. Cell would be offended, and this time he would stop holding back and go 100% against Broly. He would begin his next attack by using the after image strike and create many mirages of himself to trick Broly. Broly would stop laughing and try to focus on which one is the real Cell. He would throw ki blasts at each one he believes is the real one. The real Cell would appear, strike Broly with a hard kick behind his head. Then he would go back to hiding through the mirages. Broly would continue to try and land a hit on the real Cell, but Cell would continue to hit Broly without being countered. Broly would then create an explosive wave, pushing away the real Cell and vanishing the mirages. Broly would then fly up and then use his blaster shell attack on Cell. This would damage Cell a lot as he did not expect that technique to be so brutal. Cell would then use one of Vegeta's toughest attacks, the Big Bang attack, to see if Broly can try and resist the attack. Cell would land the attack, but as the smoke clears, it is revealed that Broly used his energy shield to take no damage. Broly would begin laughing as he notices that Cell is hurt and appears to show that he is becoming weaker. Broly would then prepare to launch another blaster shell on Cell, and Cell would say to Broly, "Wait! I know you're stronger than me, but I also know that if you let me absorb that other android, I would become stronger than you. Or do you doubt me? Are you too afraid to find out?" Broly would be silent and smile. Then Broly would say, "Go ahead, absorb her." Cell would be glad to hear that and rush towards the body of Android 18. And then Broly would begin charging up another blaster shell and toss it at Android 18. Cell would realize this and go as fast as he can to protect 18 from taking the blast. Cell would arrive on time and have only enough time to grab her and take the hit. Broly would begin laughing as he sees that Cell is now missing parts of his body, like his right arm, his tail, and a large portion of his torso. Cell would be very angry and quickly regenerate and absorb 18. Cell becomes Perfect Cell and Broly realizes how his power level has increased very high. So much that it is time for him to unleash the legendary Super Saiyan form. Cell would be prepared to fight, but then he would witness Broly become the legendary Super Saiyan. Cell would be shocked as he did not expect his final form to be outmatched. Broly would then charge at Cell and punch him at full force. Cell would barely notice it coming and quickly block it. The punch would be so fierce that it would push Cell off his feet. Broly would then rush towards him and grab Cell by his head and drag him across the floor. Then toss him into the air and use a blaster shell attack on him. Cell would dodge it and fly back towards Broly to throw massive combos on him. Broly wouldn't bother to block them or even dodge them as he is strong enough to take it. Cell would then jump back up and launch his ultimate wave attack at Broly, landing it and giving some damage to Broly. Cell would then use the Chain Destructo Disc to try and cut Broly in half. Broly would see the attack coming and instantly grab it right when it reaches him. This would surprise Cell as he did not expect anyone to be capable of grabbing this technique with their own hand. Broly then tosses it back at Cell. Cell dodges it and loses sight of Broly. Broly is no longer in the same spot and Cell seems to have trouble finding him up until he feels a very strong presence above him. It is Broly using his Planet Geyser attack. The attack shocks Cell as it is a very small energy wave that shoots down. Cell dodges it and looks up at Broly preparing for his next attack, but as soon as the attack hits the ground, it causes a geyser of ki destroying anything near it. Cell was not far enough to avoid the ki explosion and is struck by the attack. This destroys Cell down to his core. This is all that is left of Cell and the only thing needed for him to fully regenerate back into his perfect form. With Cell having the cells of a Saiyan, his power level has now received a major Zenkai boost and his power level is similar to Broly's. Cell is now confident that he can defeat Broly, and he rushes at Broly to take him out as soon as possible. Now, just so you know, it is said that Broly's power level is up to 1,400,000,000, and Super Perfect Cell's power level is up to 1,300,000,000. If this is true, then Cell is close enough to keep up with Broly, and they both land many hits on each other over and over. After taking many hits, they both step away from each other and prepare for their final blow. Cell notices that Broly's power level only gets bigger throughout their fight, so the only way to end this is with one strong ki blast. Cell prepares to perform the strongest Kamehameha. This enrages Broly again, and he prepares one of his strongest attacks, the Omega Blaster. They both attack at the same time, and both moves clash. Cell uses all his might to win the struggle, but as we've seen Broly's technique before, it is very powerful and very hard to go up against. Even when Broly isn't trying, only here, he does go all out, and as it is a struggle for Cell, it is Broly's victory. The Omega Blaster easily breaks through Cell's Kamehameha and pierces through him, only this time, there is nothing left of Cell. The fight ends with Broly taking control of the outcome. Now that the fight is over, I'm going to explain why I think this is what would happen. After analyzing their power levels and special abilities, I can honestly say that Broly's power level is unknown, mainly because it continuously rises throughout a fight. While the opponent becomes exhausted and slowly loses their strength, Cell may have an advantage as he too can be like the androids and not get exhausted during a fight, but his power level does not increase throughout the fight. He can get a Zenkai boost and that is what helped him out, but if he were to put up a challenge against Broly, Broly would realize that he cannot toy with an opponent that is damaging him, and remember, this guy can pack a serious punch when he's toying around. But imagine how strong his hits would be if he went all out. So, that's it for this match. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, put a thumbs up. And if there are any other videos you would love to request, please let me know in the comments. Also, post up any comments, funny ones or whatever ones you can think of. Especially if you think of a better way to see how this fight would be going. I put the best comments up in my videos whenever I see some really good ones. And if you want to see more of my videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. And I'll be sure to let you know when I post up more videos. This is Score saying, have an awesome day.